Tonight on Evening, the new restaurant proud to bring not authentic Latin food to Capitol Hill. Why it's getting national attention. Explore the ties between Hawaii and the Northwest at the Wing Luke Museum. And America's strongest gym is right here in the Northwest. And still breaking records.
Hello and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Jose Cedeño, coming to you from Seattle's Chinatown-International District. And I have a question for you. Did you know there's a guided tour that highlights the history of this neighborhood?
Imagine walking around the CID and learn about the culture, the people, and the past. That's exactly what SIPDA wants you to do.
We are a community development organization. We were chartered specifically to preserve, promote, and develop the Chinatown-International District. What really made this neighborhood unique for me is that it was a place that I could come to that really reminded me of home.
Can you tell me things that we're gonna see today?
The murals that we have, things on the light poles that we have, as well as different businesses along the way and some parks that we've worked on.
So this is our first stop for today?
This is our first stop. This is the Bush Hotel. This used to be what's called a single room occupancy hotel.
It's definitely a classic building.
So on this side, they're in Japanese. This is historic Nihonmachi. These are four kind of iconic, historic Japanese businesses that were in Japantown at the time. Only two of them are still open today.
So what I've learned is that when you come here, you really have to pay attention to details.
Pay attention to details. One of the things that we really try to do when working with community groups like Japantown is really help them actualize what it is they want to see. This is a more recent piece. The Japanese community really wanted to say, you know, there was a lot of unfair things that happened to them during World War II.
Oh, you're making me walk today. Are we there yet?
We're almost there. This is a site of the future Little Saigon Landmark Project. We've been working on this project for over 12 years.
So it's not just about the past, it's also about the future.
It's about the future.
There's a lot to learn.
It's a pretty extensive tour. It's a long walk, probably take about 90 minutes. This is for anybody that really wants to learn the history of the Chinatown ID, what has been going on in the last 50 years, and also people that just want to learn more about our organization as a whole and why it is that we're here and why we exist.
Okay, if you're interested in checking out that tour, we're gonna have all the info on our website, king5evening.com. And by the way, since I'm here at the Him Hay Park, there's a big celebration happening this weekend. Yes, right here is the Chinatown International District celebration, a multicultural experience with live music, vendors, food, dragon dancing, games, martial arts, and even a car show. It's all going down this Saturday, July 12th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's for all ages and for free. Okay, now let's go to the Capitol Hill neighborhood because there's a restaurant that has a menu that celebrates Latinx street food. Yes, and the chef has a very familiar name. Here's the story.
We're about Chancla. It's our little tiny 330 square foot all electric kitchen in Capitol Hill. About Chancla will be Bat Sandal. We wanted a name that really hit every Latino, South Americans, Central Americans, you know.
A small spot with a fun vibe, welcoming everybody looking for good food.
The restaurant and the concept relates to me in a big way because this is the food that got me going when I came into the United States as an immigrant. It was one of those foods that wasn't Ecuadorian food, which is where I'm from, but it was the food that I relate to. About Chancla, we do Latin American sandwiches and rice bowls. The passion for food comes from when I was a kid. I grew up in the kitchen. My mom and my sisters, the way they show love is through food.
Today, Jose Garzon is a chef with awards and national recognition. So you know I needed to pay him a visit and try his food.
What I'm making for you today is an Ecuadorian dish called encocado. I'm really excited about this because it's my first Ecuadorian dish. It's a sofrito-based sous vide fish. We just put onions and some peppers in there. So after we do this, to finish it, this is just coconut milk that we're gonna add to this. We're gonna get a little bit of rice. This is a rice bowl, and we're just gonna serve it right on top. It's very summery. Cool.
All right, it's time to try encocado. Should I give you a 5 out of 5?
With so many great options, I was wondering what was the must-try dish at Bat Chancla.
The ropa vieja is the most popular dish by far. It has rice, guisada beans, and it comes with our two sauces. The house sauce is our chimichurri aioli and ají. And ají is a South American hot sauce. And then it has the ropa vieja, which is a shredded beef that we cook for 8-9 hours.
You have to try it.
Some items on the menu have, let's just say, interesting names.
We have a Cuban sandwich that's called the fake Cuban. And the reason why it's called that is because the fake part is the Hawaiian roll. This food means a lot to me. It's very simple food, very delicious food, but it's just a big part of my story.
Thank you, Jose, coming from another Jose. And yes, I understand, it's a little bit confusing. Now, Bad Chancla opens Wednesdays through Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. And on Sundays, it goes from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now, in South King County, there's a gym where lifting weights is not enough. It's also a place where you will find the strongest athletes.
There's something superhuman going on in a strip mall along Auburn Way.
Let's go, Lucas.
One of the greatest strength gyms in the world is in Auburn.
Just ask Angelica Jardine, who recently won the title of America's Strongest Woman.
I think the ultimate goal is to be one of the strongest women who's ever lived.
Or check in with the title holder of America's Strongest Man, Lucas Hatton.
You have to go to a place where you can ignore pain.
Still not convinced? Maybe Aaron Murray could set you straight.
I want to rack up as many firsts as I can.
She's the first world champion at multiple weight classes in the history of strength sports.
It was about 4 years of work to finally achieve that.
In fact, Dungeon Strength RX may have more champions per square foot than any other gym in the world.
We got the right people in the room first, the right coaches, the right athletes training with each other.
We're definitely a community that supports each other.
Strongman and strongwoman sports push competitors to the breaking point with feats of pure might and agility, from carrying vehicles to lifting boulders.
This is not normal, right? And that's what makes it fun to watch.
Dungeon has grown along with the sport that it serves, and its bulked up members find strength in each other.
Way to go. That was better than the previous one. Nice.
Yeah, we're ready.
We all win together when we see one of our own succeed.
Angelica won her national title less than 2 years after first entering a local competition here.
I still think I'm still letting it sink all in.
She hopes her success and Samoan heritage will provide inspiration to others.
And I actually would love for more Polynesians to come into this sport.
Erin is striving for her own unique place in history.
My ultimate goal has always been to be the most decorated strongwoman athlete of all time.
She doesn't miss a training day. Consistency, consistency, consistency.
And Lucas suddenly finds himself competing against athletes he once idolized from a distance.
I'm competing with some of the guys I watched on TV, and 2 years ago I was competing in a parking lot.
Strong and getting stronger, these Northwest superheroes are lifting Auburn, Washington to the top of the world.
People are constantly surprised by how strong they can be.
And you can do anything if you really do put the work in for it.
Okay, Dungeon Strength RX is open 24/7. And also, Lucas just set the new world strongman record by pressing 556 pounds over his head. That's right. Now, that makes me feel like I need to work out. We'll be right back.
Explore Hawaii's ties to the Northwest at a powerful new exhibit, and why this community store is a must-stop on the way to Port Townsend.
I look at the store as a living organism.
Wow!
Local stories make a difference.
I want to check that out.
With the power to enrich lives, strengthen communities, and make us smile. Evening is made possible by Primera Blue Cross. Primera Blue Cross, always in your corner.
Welcome back to the show from Seattle's Chinatown-International District. Not too far from here, at the Wing Look Museum, there's a brand new and powerful exhibit. New Day Gloria's Angeline has a sneak peek of it.
In Hawaii, we speak pigeon, and this is like this. So this place as in this place, thinking of being displaced from our homelands. This exhibition is about the history of Hawaii Island people in the Pacific Northwest. And it's not exclusive to Native Hawaiians, but we do have a lot of Native Hawaiian history in the Pacific Northwest, as well as Native Hawaiian perspectives.
This place addresses many different issues, and one of them is identity.
One of my hats is called the Lone Wauke of Wakine Kona. In Hawaii, we have a lot of proverbs called Olelo no Eau. And so this is kind of a riff on one of those proverbs where it's the lone wauke that grows and stands alone in its battles.
Wauke means paper mulberry, and Wakine Kona means Washington State.
In that one hat, there's mulberry that was grown in Hawaii and also grown in Washington State.
This hat is also decorated with porcelain triangles where you can see poems written in broken Hawaiian.
I consider myself kind of like the lone wauke out here, because trying to reconnect with my culture, being far away from my homeland, has actually been a struggle.
This exhibition reflects on cultural resilience and reclaims narratives that are often left out of mainstream history.
In the last 15 minutes, I learned indigenous peoples of this area, Native Americans, in the census were classified all as Black. I didn't realize that with the intermarriage, if there was Hawaiian with a local, that then the Hawaiian was completely erased of their heritage, and that those children, which would have been a marriage between a Hawaiian and Native American, those kids were then forced into Indian boarding schools. And that's just really disturbing to add already to the horrific history of Indian boarding schools.
This place challenges us to rethink what it means to belong and to recognize the deep connections between land, culture, and memory.
Thank you, Gloria. The exhibit This Place is running until January 2027. Now, it's road trip season, and I suggest going to the Olympic Peninsula and visit a must-see farm stand.
If you tell someone you live in Chimacum, you prepare for the follow-up question.
They're like, where's that? And you're like, oh, it's by Port Townsend, and then they might know.
But this tiny town has a very tasty claim to fame.
Chimacum, it's about food, good food.
The Chimacum Corner Farm Stand has been a must-stop along Highway 19 for more than a decade.
It's a great spot in the neighborhood.
I look at the store as a living organism.
Artist Katie McCoy owns the place along with her husband, Philip Vogelzang, a Seattle radiologist.
It's the coolest place on earth.
The store is a showcase of vibrant local produce.
So all grown here in Chimacum.
The market was a magnet for Wilco's lead singer Jeff Tweedy after Katie put up a sign offering him a free melon.
You know, we said, we can't believe you stopped. And he said, well, really, I had no choice. If you ask me what makes this place special, it's all the organic farms that are around here.
The business has grown organically as well. From a meat department featuring some unusual local game.
Oh, no longer. Sorry, we're out of yak.
To a nursery filled with plants from nearby farms.
Japanese indigo.
And a bountiful bakery.
Here's this killer shortbread of ours.
Boasting the Olympic Peninsula's best cruffin.
Cruffin, which is a combination of a croissant and a muffin.
So the next time you're headed north to Port Townsend, look for the produce paradise just beneath the vintage windmill.
It is the best store in the area.
One part healthy.
The bounty of Chimacum.
One part local.
People realize something special is here.
100% love.
And as a result, you have the coolest grocery store on the planet. I mean, it's simple. Take a look around.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Chimacum Corner Farm Stand opens daily from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. And with that, I'll be right back.
Up next, Tacoma's historical ties to a train terminus that never happened. And later, a little hike to a big boulder.
Welcome back to the show from Seattle's Chinatown International District. Back in the summer of 1873, Northern Pacific picked Tacoma as the end of the line of the Transcontinental Railroad. That's why the city's nickname is the City of Destiny.
The tale of modern-day Tacoma begins with one of the first of many railroad tracks that lead to its birthplace along Commencement Bay.
Born of the railroad, created by the railroad, and for most of its history it was physically shaped by the railroad. Everybody knew that by the end of 1873, a steam locomotive needed to reach saltwater.
At stake, 40 million acres in land grants, thousands of miles of rail, tens of millions invested, all for nothing if the railroad failed to meet its deadline. 4 cities were vying for the terminus: Olympia, Chimacum, Tacoma, and Seattle.
The railroad was shopping for the best deal they could get on land and waterfront and all the important things for a port city.
On July 14, 1873, the Northern Pacific sent a telegram with its decision, a single line.
We have located the terminal on Commencement Bay. Well, it would have instantly fulfilled the greatest hopes of the few people that were in Tacoma.
Why Tacoma? That summer, the railroad had reached Tenino, still more than 40 miles from water, and time was running out.
What's the fastest, most direct, flattest way that we can get to saltwater?
The answer can be found on the campus of UW-Tacoma, the Prairie Line, miles of flat, treeless land that made construction easier.
And that's probably the tipping point in terms of Seattle or Tacoma.
The impact was immediate.
It created the city in a burst, and it attracted enough investment and population for the city to really take off really right away.
The Northern Pacific headquarters among the first grand buildings in Tacoma, but there were strings attached. The railroad had enormous power.
The headquarters of the railroad originally was across the street from City Hall, and the joke was flip a coin as to which side of the street the city's controlled by.
It has not always been a smooth ride for Tacoma, still on the verge, it seems, of becoming the City of Destiny. But there was so much promise 150 years ago.
For that brief moment, I think you could make the argument we were the luckiest place in the country.
Today, Tacoma is home to a diverse population of approximately 222,000. And with that, we'll be right back.
Up next, a short hike to a cool place, the Lake Stevens Monster. Now in our 39th season, Evening shares local stories that make our community shine. Thanks to support from PEMCO Insurance. PEMCO empowers the Northwest to prevent the preventable. Learn how at PEMCO.com.
Welcome back to this show. Now, when you hear about something called the Lake Stevens Monster, you know you have to check it out. Here's my little adventure.
So I'm ready to do a hike to check out the Lake Stevens Monster. First thing you should know, this isn't much of a hike. All right, so let's see how long this is gonna take. What? Boom! It's right there. It was like 5 seconds hike. Second thing you should know, the monster is a rock. It's so funny. I thought I was gonna be walking for like at least half an hour, and it was about 2 seconds. But it's a cool rock though. This big boy was left behind by a glacier during the last ice age. Rocks like this are called erratics, and this is the biggest one in Washington State. Just a little advice for the kids in the neighborhood. Please, don't spray on the rock. Respect the elders. The rock is on private property, so if you visit, respect the rules and respect the neighbors who live nearby. So do not disturb the monster. There's a say-so around here. Do not disturb the monster. But most of all, respect the rock, because it was here first.
I was really prepared for a hike that only lasted 5 seconds, but the rock was pretty cool. That does it for me, but remember the Chinatown International District Celebration is happening this Saturday.
Evening. Big fan. Are you guys hiring at all, or?
We are. Do you have a resume?
Well, no, but I already mic'd up, so think about it.
Right. What?
Love evening.
Do I know you? Ciao.